I think we can all agree on this one, right? If you're even remotely trying to keep up with AI these days, you're probably feeling a little overwhelmed.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's like drinking from a fire hose, right?
Totally. And, for someone like you, the listener, I mean, you're here, you're listening, so you're clearly someone who wants to know what's going on. You want to gain actual knowledge about this stuff. You don't just want to be hit with a million headlines every day about the latest AI thingamajigger.
Right, exactly. And that's where the real challenge comes in, doesn't it?
It does, because where do you even begin?
Yeah.
Right? So that is exactly what we are diving into today.
Awesome. Love a good deep dive.
Me too. So for this one, you shared some really interesting stuff with me.
Hope you liked it.
Oh, I did. Especially those notes you put together. Really interesting insights there.
Thanks. Yeah, we'll try to pull some good stuff together for this one.
Well, you did. And of course, we have the transcript from that YouTube video. Grace Lung's, you can become AI ready by 2025 with these 5 steps.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I think she makes some really important points.
Agreed. And I think our mission today should be to really laser focus on the actionable stuff here.
Yeah.
Cut through the noise and give our listener a very clear and efficient starting point for all of this.
I like it straightforward and practical.
Exactly. And I think the real key takeaway from both of these sources is the importance of building a really solid base of knowledge before you even think about touching the latest AI tool.
That's so important. I think it's tempting to just want to dive in and start using stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But both the video and your notes, they emphasize over and over again that a foundational understanding of what's actually going on is going to serve you so much better.
Definitely, you're not just chasing the latest shiny object, you're building something much more sustainable.
Exactly. Okay, so let's talk about that idea of focusing on fundamentals first.
Let's do it.
Both sources are very, very clear that the most effective way to start this AI journey is to really understand the core concepts before you start playing around with any specific AI tools.
Totally. And I love how blunt Grace Lee June is about this in the video.
Oh yeah, she does not mince words.
Nope. She says, quote, do not start with AI tools. And she even says to just completely forget those top 100 AI tools lists.
Like just ignore them.
Yep. She's like, those are just noise.
Interesting take. I mean, it's kind of refreshing, honestly.
Right. It is, because it's easy to get caught up in that frenzy of what's the new tool? What's the best tool?
Totally. And I think she's onto something there.
Yeah. And she really backs it up too. She explains why this approach is so important.
Yeah. And your notes really dive into this as well.
Thanks. Well, I wanted to really unpack it, because I think it's the key to everything.
Okay. So tell me, why is this so crucial?
Well, think of it like this. Imagine you're learning to cook. Would you try to make some super complicated dish without even understanding the basics of chopping vegetables or using a stove?
Definitely not. I'd probably burn the house down.
Probably right. Yeah. It's the same with AI. You need to grasp the underlying principles first. What AI can actually do, what it can't do, how it processes information, that kind of stuff.
And I think people get really hung up on that word thinking.
Oh yeah. It's not really thinking the way we think. It's more like processing information in a very complex way.
Right. But still understanding how that happens is step 1.
It is, because without that, you're basically just treating AI like magic.
Like a magic black box.
Exactly. Which can be dangerous because you might use it in ways that are not appropriate, or you might misinterpret the results.
Yeah. Or you might not be able to spot the limitations or potential biases, which we all know are out there.
Absolutely. And that's where understanding the core concepts comes in.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Why is understanding these core concepts so important for navigating the AI landscape, which, as we all know, is changing at the speed of light?
Oh yeah, it's moving fast. But here's the thing. While the specific tools and their features are constantly being updated, the fundamental technologies behind them tend to be more stable.
So it's like the tools are built on this more stable foundation.
Exactly. So even if the tools themselves change, the foundation is still there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so give me some examples of these core concepts.
Sure. So one that's really important to understand is token limits, which basically refers to the amount of text an AI model can handle at one time.
Interesting. So it's not like it can just process an infinite amount of information.
Not at all. It has limitations. And understanding those limitations is important for using the tools effectively.
Got it. What else?
Another one is RA, or Retrieval Augmented Generation.
I've heard that one thrown around.
It's a big one, basically. It's about giving the AI access to external information to improve its responses.
So it's not just working with what's already in its little brain.
Right. It can actually go out and pull in information from the real world.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And what about hallucination? Is that a core concept?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's basically when the AI generates information that is inaccurate or nonsensical.
So it's making stuff up.
Kind of. It's more like it's making connections that aren't really there or drawing conclusions that don't follow logically.
Interesting. And why is it important to understand these core concepts?
Well, because they help you understand the underlying constraints and capabilities of these systems.
So even if a particular tool changes or disappears, you'll still have a good understanding of how these things work at a basic level.
Exactly. And that's really valuable because you're not constantly starting from scratch every time something new comes out.
I can definitely see that being helpful.
And Grace Linning really hits on this in the video. She says, quote, "These core technologies will not change, much like the features."
I like that she's basically saying focus on the fundamentals and you'll be much better equipped to handle the ever-changing landscape of tools.
Precisely. You're building that resilience and adaptability.
And that's something I think our listener is really looking for, right? Because nobody wants to feel overwhelmed and confused by all of this.
Oh yeah. I mean, the amount of AI stuff out there is crazy. It can be very overwhelming.
And this idea of ignoring those top 100 AI tools lists, that's actually really smart advice.
It is, because it's all about cutting through the noise.
Right, because those lists are just going to be out of date like the next day.
Exactly. They create this sense of urgency and FOMO that's not helpful.
Totally. So by focusing on the fundamentals, you're essentially filtering out a lot of that noise.
Yeah.
And you're concentrating on the essential knowledge that's going to stay relevant.
Absolutely. It's about building your own internal compass so you can navigate this whole AI world without constantly feeling like you're behind.
I love that analogy of the internal compass because it really is about developing that critical thinking and the ability to assess new tools and features based on your understanding of how AI works at its core.
Exactly. You're not just blindly following the hype. You're making informed decisions.
Okay, so now let's get to the really fun part.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So you've started to build this foundational understanding of AI, right? You've got those core concepts down.
Yep, I'm feeling good.
Awesome. Now here's the cool part. You can then use AI itself to speed up your learning.
Whoa, that's meta.
It is.
Yeah.
Right? It's like using the technology you're studying to actually become better at understanding it.
I love it. So what does that look like in practice?
Well, both Grace Long and my notes talk about this idea of AI-powered learning.
Okay, I like where this is going.
So once you have that basic grasp of the fundamentals, you can start using AI search engines, like Perplexity, for example.
Perplexity, yeah, I've heard of that one.
It's a pretty cool tool, and there are others out there too, but basically you can use these tools to go deeper into specific topics that you're interested in.
So it's like having an AI research assistant.
Exactly. And the transcript specifically talks about using prompts to gather information about those key concepts we were talking about. How they function, what their limitations are, that kind of stuff.
So you're not just asking basic questions like, what is AI? You're getting into the nitty-gritty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because you already have that foundational knowledge, you can ask much more targeted and insightful questions.
And you can also be more critical of the information you're getting back because you understand how these systems work and where they might fall short.
Totally. It's like you're having a much more informed conversation with the AI.
I like that. Now, I remember Grace Ling had this really cool bonus tip in the video.
Oh yeah, tell me about that one.
It was about using Perplexity to actually generate personalized learning paths.
So it's like asking the AI what you should learn next.
Exactly. You can say something like, hey, I'm interested in this aspect of AI. What are the key skills or tools or courses I should explore next?
Wow, that's powerful. It's like having an AI design your curriculum.
I know. It's amazing. It really helps to provide structure and direction, especially in a field like AI where there's just so much information out there.
Agreed. And there's another tool that Grace Ling mentions that I think is worth highlighting.
Yeah, what's that?
It's called Notebook LM. It's an AI note-taking app.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
So the idea is that you upload all of your valuable sources, articles, transcripts, your own notes, and then you can use the AI within the app to ask follow-up questions and really deepen your comprehension of the material.
That's cool. So it's like having an interactive study guide.
Exactly. And it's not just passively reading, you're actively engaging with the content.
That's where the real learning happens, right? When you're actively thinking about the material and asking questions.
Totally. And Grace Long is a big fan of this approach. She says, quote, "This system has sped up my learning by 10x, and this is a true game changer for me."
That's high praise coming from her.
It is, right? She's clearly seen a huge benefit from this approach.
And I think it really highlights that synergy between having that foundational knowledge and then using AI to personalize and accelerate your learning.
Exactly. It's like this virtuous cycle. You know, you build the foundation, then you use AI to build on that foundation, and it just keeps going.
It's a great way to approach learning anything, really, but especially something as complex and rapidly evolving as AI.
Okay, so we've talked about why it's important to start with fundamentals and then how you can use AI to speed up your learning, but let's get practical here.
Love it practical is my jam.
Mine too. So where can our listener go to actually start acquiring this essential foundational knowledge?
Well, both sources offer some really fantastic starting points, and here's the best part. They're all free.
Free education. I love it.
Yeah, so Grace Long specifically recommends Andrew Ng's Generative AI for Everyone course.
That's a classic.
It is, and it's a really great introduction to the topic.
And it's free.
It is. And she also recommends ChatGPT for Everyone from Learn Prompting, which is a great resource for understanding how to use large language models effectively.
And I think that one is free as well.
Yep. And then there's promengineering.ai, which is a website with a ton of resources on prompt engineering, which is a really valuable skill to have in this space.
And all of these resources, they really focus on those core concepts we were talking about.
Exactly. They're not getting bogged down in the specifics of particular tools.
It's all about the fundamentals.
Yeah.
The stuff that's going to stay relevant no matter what.
Exactly. And then there's a bonus recommendation that I love.
Ooh, tell me.
It's to subscribe to the YouTube channel 3 Blue 1 Brown.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I love that channel.
Their videos are amazing. They use really engaging visuals to explain complex concepts, especially around large language models.
Totally. And I think that's so helpful for people who might be a little intimidated by the technical aspects of AI.
Absolutely, because it makes those concepts much more intuitive and easier to grasp.
So to summarize for our listener, the most important step you can take right now is to start building this AI learning system that prioritizes understanding the fundamentals before you even think about which tools to use.
Exactly. It's all about laying that strong foundation.
And once you have that foundation, you can then use AI to help you build on that knowledge and really accelerate your learning.
And that's what makes you truly AI ready.
It does, because you're not just reacting to the latest trends or tools. You're approaching this with a deep understanding of how it all works.
And that's what gives you the power to be more creative, more strategic, and ultimately more successful in using AI.
Absolutely. So the key takeaway here is that to become AI ready in a way that's both efficient and effective, you need to focus on understanding the why behind AI before you dive into the how of specific tools.
And I think that's a really powerful idea to consider, how understanding the why might actually save you a lot of time and lead to a much deeper and more resilient understanding in the long run.
Totally, because it's about making that investment in your knowledge up front so you could be more adaptable and more confident as this field continues to evolve.
Exactly, and I'd encourage everyone to check out at least one of those free resources we mentioned today.
Great advice. And thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.
This was fun. I always learn something new when we do these.
Me too. Thanks again.
Anytime.
And to our listener, keep learning, keep exploring, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.